We're actually live. We're live. How you doing, Meredith?
I am good, thank you. As you can see, I am hanging out in what will be my new studio. Got still a little work to do on it, but I thought I'd give it a shot in here today. How are you doing?
I am doing great now. The studio, is that still in the loft area of your home?
Yes, yeah, it's still in the loft area of my home. So still use the loft because I get the most requests for that more often than not. When I try to use a virtual background, people tell me to bring back the loft, but I can use this for shooting some keynotes and some presentations.
See, I think that loft gives you a great backdrop. I think it's great. And it's like everybody wishes they had a home office, like a home log cabin office like you've got. So anyway.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so what is new in your world?
Yeah, so I've got
Or
a lot
maybe
of
we
good
should phrase this up. What in your sales world, what kind of keep this focused on sales world?
Yeah. So I had sort of an interesting last couple of days. I just landed two clients based off some videos that I've been putting out on LinkedIn, and it was so. The one client, we just signed the contract, and we were talking early this morning, and one of the things he said, I wanted to work with you because I really feel like I know you. And I think that's interesting because it goes to a lot of what we're going to talk about today on Sales Logic, just some of the power that you can use with social media and really getting your brand out there. So one other thing I want to say is with all the interesting events going on in the world today, that little debate has reared its head again. Should we be selling or shouldn't we be selling? And so I think that would be interesting to talk about a little bit more as well. But what's going on in your sales world, Mark?
Well, you know what? I'll pick up on what you just said there in terms of they feel like they know you. That's a comment I get from people who have read my book, A Mind for Sales.
Yeah.
In fact, I had a guy call me the other day. He works on Wall Street. Well, he's right now working from home, but he normally works on Wall Street. And he made the comment. He said, I had to call you because I feel like I'm two-thirds of the way through the book, and I feel like I know you. And it was interesting because he said, then I've been watching a lot of your videos, and he's caught a couple of these sales logic podcasts. And it is amazing how people more than ever want to see kind of who you are, and feel like they know you. And it really does make sales more personable than ever. But, back to that question, should we be selling or should we not be selling?
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever not a good time to sell. Am I crazy? Am I crazy?
Yeah, I have it certainly has been a challenging week for our country, and I know that some people have felt that maybe it sounds a little bit of tone deaf to reach out and to start selling. But I had another interesting client who told me that he meets every week in his backyard with 12 other people of the same faith that he is. They remain more than 6 feet apart, but they're just talking in their world about what they can do to both impact in their business and impact in their community. And they've been doing this for 2 years because they got so tired about complaining about the things they can't control. And I think that really relates to the fact of there's so much happening that we can't control right now. But one of the best things that we can do is work together to grow our businesses, to help our customers, and do what we can impact successfully inside our own communities. So I do think it's a good time to sell right now. I know a lot of my customers have been challenged with some things that are going on, and just to be there to engage and to help them through that, I think very much is a sales role.
Yeah, and I think there's something to be said for what you just made the comment. Those people have been meeting for several years.
Yeah.
What kind of turns me off is when people jump on the bandwagon, and anybody can jump on a bandwagon, but it's what you do 365 days a year in and year out. That's what really counts. And I think I think authenticity is really ringing clear right now. And if we can be authentic and just be who we are, I think that's the best way we sell, really, if you think about it.
I do.
Word trust.
Yeah, I think that it's one reason that I do like doing the videos and things like that, because people doing sales logic, because people get to know who you are and what you think and what opinions you have, and they can decide if they want to engage with you or not. And I think it's one of the big value adds right now.
Yeah. Okay. I got one question I have to ask you, because you're a big one who loves to go to Europe. My wife and I, we love to go to Europe also. When are you making your next trip to Europe? Because we're debating.
Yeah, so I am scheduled to speak in Greece in May of 2020, I believe. And then I've got another speaking engagement in Milan of September of next year. I still have 2 vacations on the books, one in France in July and one in Ireland in September. But I can't imagine those are gonna go. So I'm really thinking to travel abroad 2021, and I'll be interested to see. I'm scheduled to be speaking in Canada in November, and so it'll be interesting to see where things happen then. What about you?
Yeah, well, I've got several Canadian trips planned again for this fall. It all depends on the border and the quarantine issue.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to be in Italy a week ago. Well, that didn't happen. I don't know. I'm getting itchy. It is interesting, and I posted on Facebook, and I know I'm going to get blowback on this, but I saw a deal that said American Airlines is increasing their domestic flight schedule. And I made the comment that I've got flights booked for the end of this month and again for next month. And I know people are going to push back at me, but you know what? I'm kind of this approach that we got to figure out how to live with it. And
Yeah.
I got business to do, and I got customers to meet. So,
Yeah.
I'm getting on an airplane.
Yeah, I'm scheduled. I scheduled to be on one in a couple of weeks, and I have to say I would rather drive to where I'm going right now. Not out of fear of COVID, but just out of loss of control. I mean, I think that I'm a little worried about flights getting canceled or things getting moved around. But just got to jump in the pool and swim, right?
Well, right, but you know what? I can't stand driving, so I'm not going to drive. I happen to live in Omaha, and if I go to Kansas City, that's a 3-hour drive, about 2.5 to 3 hour drive. That's as far as I'll drive. I mean, even if I have to go to Denver, people are like, "You're going to drive?" No, I am flying to Denver. Even to go to Minneapolis, it's about a 5.5 hour drive. I'll fly. I'm just. I'm sorry.
I've got a client in Maryland next week, and scheduled to be there. Scheduled to be there all week, and that's it's 8 hours for me, and I'm going to drive it.
Mayor, you're letting me down. You're letting me down.
Sorry, the fear that I'll get to the airport, they'll cancel my flight, and there will go first day of with my client. So I think the airlines probably have a couple more months to figure a few things out.
Well, I'm going to revoke your Crown Club membership. Okay, so just saying, it's gone. It's gone. It's gone. I'm taking your medallion status away from you and everything. So sorry. Anyway, okay. Anyway. So
I think we should talk about. I think we should jump.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should jump into the show. We got some really good stuff to discuss today, and I'm thinking if Micah could if our producer could kick off that video, we could jump in because I'm excited about the stuff that we're going to talk about today on the show. So everybody who's watching right now, stay attuned.
When we prospect with integrity, we will get customers who have integrity. Integrity is the foundation from which everything is built on.
You better understand value. But at the end of the day, sales is a relationship business. It is a people business. It is an emotional business.
Who has made a prospecting call today?
This is Sales logic.
Most people refer to VanillaSoft as the solution. It's the solution to ensure sales reps make the right number of attempts for every lead across all channels, including email, social, and the phone. It's the solution to serve the rep the next best lead every single time. You need to get your solution at vanillasoft.com.
Wow, those are a couple of really good lead-ins. Welcome to Sales Logic, the show where we dive into, we discuss, and we really lay out the strategies you need to approach sales logically. I'm Meridith Elliott Powell, and I am here with my co-host, Mark Hunter.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. I'm Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter, along with Meridith. It's always great to do this show with you.
Well, we got some really good
Meridith,
things to dive into. No, go for it.
Well, I was going to say we got some hot topics. And before we jump into the topic, we should tell people that Sales Logic podcast they can go out to. They can leave us a question because again, we're going to pull we got a question right here today. In fact, we shaped the whole program around it. Or you can go out to social media and just post your question with hashtag Sales Logic. We'll see it. We'll grab it. But we got a good question, and it's going to lead into a great topic. And then we're going to do some really quick, I don't know, whatever we want to call at the end, where we just throw stuff out real quick. And we're going to have this whole show done in about 20 minutes. But hey, before we jump into it, the big shout out to VanillaSoft. It's great to have them as the title sponsor of Sales Logic podcast. It's great. They're going to be doing a lot of promotional work for us. We're helping them out. And it is a great win because I'll tell you what, from a prospecting standpoint, there is no better tool than VanillaSoft. But hey, why don't you share with us the question that came in this week? Go for it.
All right. So I just want to recap really quickly what Mark just went over. There's 3 segments to this show every single week. Number 1, we start off with your questions. That's right. Anything you want to ask, anything you want to put on the table, we're going to jump in and we are going to answer that question. Number 2, we are going to have a topic of the week. And last but not least, you are going to leave with an action plan. Talk about return on investment. We're going to do a lightning round of the exact things that you can put into place to really sell more logically and effectively. But Mark, this question this week comes from one of our National Speakers Association friends who asked to remain anonymous. So I will ensure that she does. But it's such a good question and such a good topic. Is Sales Navigator worth the investment? What do you think, Mark?
Yes, I use Sales Navigator. How's that? Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to the topic. No. Here's why I believe Sales Navigator is worth the price. And I don't even know how much it costs. It's less than $1,000. I use it. I have it. Here's the whole thing. If you do anything in sales whatsoever, and this is a productivity tool and it can save you time, why would you not use it? The ability to see a much broader breadth and depth of people out there is amazing. That's what I use it for. There's a lot of other tools, but I just use it to be able to dig a lot deeper into finding people I want to work with.
Yeah, so it runs, I think it's about $79.99 a month or something like that. So about $80. You can probably find a coupon code. And I use it as well. I'm pretty diligent about it. But I am going to say that it's worth it if you're going to use it. Don't buy the tool because it doesn't work without you actively engaging in it. So you need to buy it, then set aside the time on how to use it. I mean, some of the features that I really gravitated towards was, number 1, is it allowed me to do a much more robust profile. And that's important to me because I do feel like people are looking at me and finding me on LinkedIn. And I bet that really it is the same for you. And then the quality of the searches is so much better. The information that I can get on people to actually kind of, as Mark said, save me time, but I'm really clear on my target market. And then when I go on there, I have far more ability to find out information about people. And then the last thing I'm going to say is I love it because it's really mobile phone. The app works really well with it. So I can be in days when I used to be on a plane or I'm, sitting waiting on a meeting or something, I can be updating and getting some of the latest information on my clients. So if you're not using it to prospect, I can't imagine what you're using that is better. But if you're not actively prospecting, then we have another challenge. And I don't want to see you buy a tool that you won't use.
Well, that's so true, because you really have to look at it. It's a gym membership. Having a gym membership does not get you in shape. You have to use it. Now, here's what I tell people. There are some industries where people just are not on LinkedIn. So you do have to make sure that you're selling into an industry, or you're working in an industry or industries that people are on LinkedIn. Because one of the best ways that I use it, like tomorrow, for instance, I have a call tomorrow with a VP of sales of a very prospective person who I'd like to do some work with. And I'm going to go into Navigator and I'm going to run a whole profile on them. I'm going to find out all the other people. I'm going to be able to get a tremendous amount of intel right there. Chances are there's probably some other people who I know that I'm already connected to. What is it going to do? It's going to enhance the quality of my conversation. So I use it from a prospecting end, but I also use it for getting more informed. So I love that. I love Navigator. I use it.
Yeah. And I've got a new client that we just started with, and we're building his prospect list. And one of the things that we do with we're working on a prospect list for the team, and we use it because the filters are so good. Like I said, we got really, really clear on our target market, who is exactly, if we're going to make a sales call, because it's one of the most expensive things you do, if we're going to reach out, we're going to make a sales call, then we want to make sure we're aimed at the right targets. And the filters are just so much deeper on Sales Navigator. So we're getting better results, which Mark knows this better than anybody. The better you prospect, the faster you're going to get the sales call and the faster you're going to close the deal.
Without a doubt. Hey, with that, let's jump into the topic, because it's a hot topic. Okay. Ooh, this is going to be controversial, because I know you and I have discussed this more than a few times. The topic is social selling. Is it a fad, or is it here to stay? Go for it.
Well, I think it's a great question. I think you have to define what social selling is, because I really think something that's different about selling today is, and we were talking a little bit about this in the pre-show, is you've got to build your reputation online. You've got to be visible online. People have to know who you are, what you're about, and what you stand for. Selling is going to be so much harder if you're not doing that piece. But I don't want people to feel like selling, creating the videos, making the posts, being visible, that isn't actually making the sale. That still happens in an old-fashioned way, even if it happens online. So I think it is definitely here to stay. I think its impact is going to grow, but understand, I believe it's a blend with what, for lack of a better term, I'll call traditional selling.
Okay, I just found another reason to like you. I like you for what you just said in terms of social selling. Now, because I get wound up about social selling. First of all, you nailed on it. It's not about posting and so forth, because you can't take clicks and likes to the bank. I mean, you can't. No. I see too many people. What they do is they sit there, and if they can just throw enough stuff out on social media, people will beat will beat their door. It's not going to happen. The other piece, and I'm going to say it, I'm going to get in trouble. No, I'm not going to get in trouble. I say it. Social selling is neither social nor selling. Okay, drop the mic, we're out of there. No, what do I mean by that? I mean, too many times, because how many times have you had somebody try to connect with you on LinkedIn or on Facebook? And we'll use LinkedIn because we're both B2B. And they immediately try to connect, and then they immediately start selling you. And I go, hold on. Did you forget the social part? Because we have to create social first. I'm not saying we can't sell, but they're two separate activities. You got to earn the right. And like you said, it's really your reputation really is so critical, because nobody's going to talk to you without first Googling you, without first finding out what your LinkedIn profile say, right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think I want our listeners to understand there's so much opportunity with social. I mean, you get to talk about how you feel your product or service helps clients or customers. I mean, I was working with a customer last week, and we're working on some sales strategies for her team. And I said, put together the top 10 questions that customers ask you, the top 10 things that they're challenged with. And we're going to shoot a series of videos on that, just little tips that I want them to put out, because if their customers are asking those questions, all their potential prospects and future customers are asking those same questions. So I feel like social selling shortens the sales cycle, has a lot of potential, but you have to have the foundational pieces of sales up under there. You have to understand who your target is. You have to be speaking to your target, solving their problems. You have to be connected to the right people. And you're right, you can't push, because you wouldn't walk into a crowded room and just start selling people on a product or service. You'd build engagement first. I cringe every time across my LinkedIn profile somebody says, "Thanks for connecting with me. Would you like to attend this webinar or be a part of this?" It just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel authentic, like we said at the start of this.
And isn't it amazing how when they do that, it's so obvious they haven't even looked at your own profile. It's so
exactly.
obvious they haven't seen what you do. Because this is the whole thing that I say. In sales, your reputation arrives before you do. It arrives before you do. You've got to build your reputation out on social media. Now, one of the challenges I say about social media is it doesn't mean you have to build it out on every platform. I mean, there are so many platforms out there. Know where you play well and stay in that lane. I tell people, and I see this from salespeople, they sit there and they throw a little bit out on like 9, 10 different platforms. Don't. If all you have time for is LinkedIn, then let that be your master. Let that be where you spend your time. If your customers are on Facebook, then that's where you spend your time. Don't think you need to spend all kinds of time. I mean, I'm on several platforms that, I hate to say it, I rarely look at. Rarely look at, because I don't have time. Wow. I looked at 10,000 cat videos. Isn't that great? It didn't make me any money. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll calm down. I'm sorry.
You know, Mark, one question, though, when it comes to social selling and it comes to platforms, that I think is, I don't know about you, but some of my clients are running into, is that where do you strike the balance? I mean, some of the things that I do with social is that I am looking to build my reputation and my brand, both personal and professional. So I have platforms that I'm on that are more, bent towards personal. And I do use that to build my brand and my image. But where is the balance with personal and professional? Where is going too far? And how do you help a sales team do that? I mean, if I worked for your sales team and I have an opinion about something that's going on in our community and I post it, how do we strike the balance of that? How do we allow people to be authentic, which is so much that we've talked about today, at the same time striking the balance of not offending a certain population of our target market?
And you think we're going to answer that question in about 5 minutes? Come on. You just opened up Pandora's box there. Here's what I do.
I think it's an important question.
Well, it is an important question. LinkedIn for me is 95% business, 98% business. That is business to business. And I don't let my I don't let personal views, I really don't let that sort of stuff come into play. Facebook, I'm a little more. I never go down the political path. I will not go down the political path. I don't venture into a lot of different cases. And I'm pretty cautious and reserved. If you follow me enough, you get to know who I am. I put out some jokes. I put out a great meme the other day. It was a bear chasing a guy on a bicycle, and it was Meals on Wheels. Now, I thought that was funny. So I'm sorry. That was shiny object. Here's the whole thing. I tend to stay business, but Facebook is probably more closer to maybe 50-50. I used to be probably 80-90% personal on Facebook and 10% business. And my team has been challenging me to go a little bit more over there. So again, I don't know what the right balance is. You got to do what's comfortable for you, but I'm never going to put something out there that is going to come back to bite me 2 or 3 years from now. Because wow, isn't it amazing how people get in trouble?
Yeah, I think that, one thing that I'm advising my clients to do is that it's, and I do this for myself, is what's in alignment with your personal brand. I mean, how do you really thinking about, we don't think enough about how much, I always say to people, if you were going to write down 5 words of how you would want people to describe you to somebody else, and then just think about what you're doing and what you're posting in alignment with those 5 words. And if you stay true to that, I think that you'll stay on pretty good course, because your brand may be, I mean, we certainly know people in the sales space whose brand is to, I don't know, let's be controversial, to definitely challenge the status quo, or in some cases even offend. And I think it's just important to remind yourself before you post, who is it that you want to show up? And if you're in alignment with that, then great. And for me, it's not that. So those posts, my posts need to be in alignment with my personal values.
See, and what that means is picking your lane and staying in your lane. The piece that I always tell people is be cautious and check the emotion. Check the emotion at the door. I know of one person who I have tremendous respect for. Is an unbelievable intellect. And yet every now and then there's this unbelievable emotion-filled rant on Facebook.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think less of that person as a result of that. So I say, keep the rants off, because it doesn't, you're not going to change anybody's opinion. Okay. Let's not get it. All you're going to do is paint a brighter picture of you. And at the end of the day, it's going to suck a lot of emotion out of you. It's going to suck a lot of your, let's put it this way. Undoubtedly, you have more important things, more important places to spend your time. So that's just where I say,
Yeah, I agree. And I think that social selling is for your opportunity to really use how your products and services can benefit your target market. And the more that you can do to use the platforms to do that, the faster you're going to get through the door, the better conversations you're going to have, the faster you're going to close the deal, and the more referrals you're going to get.
Yeah, and take your time on the selling piece, because it's social first. Social first. My whole goal, and I love this definition. My objective is to create an online connection that I can turn into an offline conversation. Because when I do that, then I've created a deep relationship. And that's what social media, to me, is all about.
Well, and I think it's important for us to remember that finding a product or service, that is not a problem for customers today. They can find that stuff anywhere. We do it with a click of our fingers running across the keyboard. What they're looking for is somebody that they trust, somebody they believe in, and somebody who could proactively add value to that relationship. So back to Mark's point, it is the social first.
Social first. And hey, with that, we should probably jump into the lightning round. So what are some quick things? But before we jump into the lightning round, we should remind people, saleslogicpodcast.com. Jump out there to leave us a question. We love answering it. We love hearing comments. And of course, we love it when you leave a review and out there on iTunes, whatever, and you subscribe to it, you tell friends. But okay, enough about a commercial. Let's do the lightning round. What are some quick hit tips that people can do right now to help elevate social selling, social media?
Number one is that is the one that you had mentioned, and that is you've got to know the platform. You cannot possibly spread yourself across all the social media platforms you are. Understand where your customer is and spend at least 80% of your time on that platform.
That's a great tip. I'm going to say take your profile, and the best way to build out your profile is look at 5 other people that you respect. What are they doing on their profile? What are they doing on their profile? What they do is what you should do. Copy. It works.
Yeah, I think we way underestimate how important profile is. Number three, I'm going to say learn to leverage video, images and videos, and those things are really what get a lot of play those days, and also enhance your brand to ensure that you look like you're somebody who is a trailblazer rather than a trail follower.
I'm going to add, be a leader. Be a leader when you share something. I love sharing news commentary. In other words, there was an article I saw on CNBC.com. I put the link out and I added a couple comments to it. It's a way for people to understand that you have a level of expertise and a level of intelligence, and you're sharing more than just about yourself.
Yeah, I would also add that really use your social media platform to position yourself as a thought leader. And the way that I tell my clients to do that is really, again, make a list of the top 10 questions that your customers are asking, and then do videos, do blogs, do those things up there, and position yourself as a resource out there.
I'm going to throw out another one. Control your time. Set a limit on time. Maybe it's 15 minutes a day. Maybe it's 10 minutes a day. Do not allow it to run away from you, because otherwise you'll wind up going out to Facebook, going out to LinkedIn, and 3 hours later, you're still there. You set a timer. It's 5 minutes. It's 10 minutes. That's it. And you're gone.
I would add that leverage your opportunity to partner with people. So in your posts, call out somebody else. I'm working on a post right now on accountability, and I'm going to highlight Sam Silverstein, our friend Sam Silverstein, in that, because he is an accountability expert. But the more that you can partner with people and form those relationships, you're certainly shining the light on somebody else, but you're getting more views with their audience and things like that.
Right. And the last one I'll share, and that is, hey, open yourself up to connections. People tend to be too limited. I pretty much connect to anybody who is going to connect with me, unless I really see that, okay, this just doesn't line up with me. Because really, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to be social. I'm trying to connect. And I'm not going to hesitate. I'm not going to step away from that. Hey, with that, we need to start ramping up this show. So I'm going to say right now, thank you for listening to Sales Logic this week. If you like what you hear, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast app. If something we've said has earned you a single dollar, consider telling a friend about our show. It's how we grow to help you grow. I'm Mark Hunter.
And I'm Meridith Elliott Powell.
Remember, when you sell with confidence and integrity,
uncertainty suddenly becomes your competitive advantage.
And the sale becomes logical.
Thank you.
Most people refer to VanillaSoft as the solution. It's the solution to ensure sales reps make the right number of attempts for every lead across all channels, including email, social, and the phone. It's the solution to serve the rep the next best lead every single time. You need to get your solution at VanillaSoft.com.